Thank you for joining us. My name is Brian Stretch. I'm the acting United States Attorney here in the Northern District of California. I'm joined today on my immediate right by Ron Davis, the Director of Community-Oriented Policing Services Office, a division of the DOJ headquartered back in Washington, D.C. Director Davis has been appointed by the President to be the Executive Director of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing. Next to the Director is Noble Ray on my far right. Chief Ray reports directly to Director Davis and is the Chief of the Policing Practices and Accountability Initiative Division, also known as PPAI. The creation of PPAI follows a recommendation of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing, and it will oversee collaborative reform. And it will assist law enforcement in developing strategies to implement the President's Task Force recommendations throughout the country. To my left, I'm joined by the Mayor of San Francisco, Ed Lee, as well as the San Francisco Police Chief, Greg Suhr. This afternoon, city officials and federal authorities are jointly announcing the start of the DOJ's Collaborative Reform Initiative for Technical Assistance Program for the San Francisco Police Department. The review is in response to requests made by the mayor, from the chief, from elected city officials, and community members asking the Justice Department to examine the San Francisco Police Department and their use of force and their practices. The collaborative reform will focus on San Francisco's Police Department's operational policies, its training, its practices, and accountability systems pertaining to stops and searches and to the use of force. Importantly, the review will examine whether racial and ethnic disparities exist with respect to enforcement actions taken and not taken by the San Francisco Police Department. Director Davis will explain in further detail about the program, but you should know that both the mayor and the chief have requested an exhaustive and transparent review of the San Francisco Police Department by the Department of Justice, and that is what they are going to get. Now let me say a quick word about the calls for a separate and federal investigation into the shooting death of Mario Woods. Immediately following the shooting, our office and the District Attorney's Office were in close communications and jointly determined that the District Attorney's Office would pursue and lead an investigation into the shooting. Following well-established DOJ civil rights protocols, the FBI and our office continue to communicate with the District Attorney's Office, and we are monitoring the investigation. At the conclusion of the investigation, the federal authorities will undertake a full review. If, after that full review, we have identified an unvindicated federal civil rights interest, then we will pursue a separate federal investigation at that time. And now I'll ask Director Davis to provide some details about collaborative reform.
I have a question. My name is Paulette Brown, and I lost my son 9 years ago to unsolved homicides, and the homicides that are going on here in San Francisco. And we want to bring the transparency about the racism about our children's cases not being solved too. I understand Mario Woods' issue, but here I've been on the battlefield. I've met with the mayor, and I've also met with Police Chief Suhr for the last 9 years. And we want our children's cases solved. For mothers like myself, we need to heal. I've been around Leah Cohen, Susan Loftus. Everybody in here knows who I am. And I just come and bring an awareness, not to my son's case, but to every child out there, the mother is suffering in silence, to homicide. So we want our case to solve too. We understand Mario Woods, we understand the police killing. Right. Make the same uproar about our children being murdered also, right, on community violence. the violence that's happening in our community.
Right. If I could say this, and one, I'm sorry for your loss. Let me start with that. And two is I agree with you very much so, in that as we look at building trust between the police department and the community, as we look at engaging in the best practices, we also know that this is also the best way to fight crime, to enhance public safety, to garner the kind of trust necessary that you have much higher case clearance rates, so that people will come forth and talk about murders that occur. And I think for us, for a safe community is defined in many ways, and it was not just against police violence, it would be against violence in general. So I think we share that with you. I would say for the Attorney General, I'm going to speak for her and the President. The two are very much linked. We believe that effective, constitutional-based community policing is a way to make our communities safer and to establish a relationship. So it's with your loved one in mind and many others that I think this is also very important. It's not about, there may be a triggering case, but I think as you start looking at where the department can head, where we need to go as a nation, it's about thousands of young men like the one you're talking about that lose their lives every day.